Hey guys, welcome. Happy Halloween. We're in the shop tonight working on our California build. And inside the van, we've got Mike in the van. Actually, you can't see him. He's It's okay. It's all good. But yeah, Mike, part of the Odyssey Custom Vans team, putting in the sound deadening on the floor, and we're kind of working our way up on the sides of the van. So we're working on a Ford Transit 148 high roof. Tonight we're going to do two things. We're going to cut the foam. We're going to go over the workbench here in a second. We're going to cut the 1-inch polyiso foam, actually XPS, for the floor. We're going to cut the wood for the floor, and we do that so that when we glue down the foam, the wood acts as a weight to hold it down. So essentially we're doing the insulation flooring so we can kind of seal everything up, because this weekend, we're going to be working in the shop this weekend, and we're going to be doing all of the roof components. So we want to have a nice foundation to stand on, be able to clean stuff out of the van when we cut holes in the roof. We're going to be cutting 2 holes, one for the max fan, and then we're going to cut one for the Velvet 12-volt rooftop AC. So without further ado, let's get over here and kind of show you what we're working with. So these 3 rolls right here, these are floor templates from a company called AVC Rig. So you guys have seen these in the past. By the way, I've got a new audio setup. Had some technical difficulties the last 2 days, so I went to Micro Center, got some new cables, a new card for the live stream rig, and everything's working fine. But let me know if the audio is coming through clear. I appreciate it. But this is the AVC Rig template kit. We have this for all the floor panels. They also make these paper templates for some these new wall components, which I'm going to actually unbox it. I'll do it in just a little bit. But basically, if you want to do a floor by yourself, you can purchase these floor templates, lay it down. I'm going to show you exactly how we do it here in the shop. This piece has been used 6 times, I think, for 6 vans. And so now it's ready to be used for another one. And yeah, they are life-size, to scale pieces that will help you cut the floor out. A bonus to these is it's going to, 1, separate your 4x8 sheets into 3 even sections. So they're going to be 4 feet in width, and then the width 4 feet long, so you won't have to actually cut, and then at the ends, you'll obviously cut them off to size. So you'll see that in just a second. But one of the benefits is, for example, the first piece we'll be cutting is this one. And so this is the piece where the door entrance is. So if you're looking on the van, right here will be the step coming inside the van. And then over here on my left would be driver and passenger seat. And then this would be starting the second panel going to the back of the van. What's nice about these templates, like I said, they're 4 feet here. So what that allows you to do is have a nice clean edge on these gaps. And you want a clean edge so that you can bump up the panels nice and snug to each other as you're going through the van. So this will be the first one that we tape down, and we're going to do all the foam pieces first. And if you're a DIYer, you know, foam's cheap. You can play around and practice with actually cutting the template out. Now for this first one, as you see, it kind of comes over about 1.5 to 2 inches, so you will have to cut this edge. So what I do is the edge where we have the driver and passenger seat. What we do with that is, I'm going to see if I can make the camera higher. See if you guys can see that better. Probably looks just fine, but let me see if I can angle it down. We'll have to do that next time. I think you guys can You can get an idea of what we're doing here.
But we'll get this camera higher next time.
All right. So this is the actual foam we're going to be using. This is just part of my workbench that allows me just to cut up and not, damage the wood underneath it. So we're actually going to, this is a piece that we will be using. And then the easiest way to do it is just bring it to an edge. And don't use painter's tape, use masking tape. And then that's going to get you to reverb or echo. All right. Appreciate it, John. That should fix it. Let's see. How's that sound? And don't use painter's tape, use masking tape. And then that's going to get you to reverb or echo. All right. Appreciate it, John. That should fix it. Where's my chat box? How's that sound? All right. There we go. Okay, back at the workbench. Yeah, some tape and we'll tape this off. Trying to find my chat box. View, chat box. Chat, docs, chat. Well, I'll have to reply to you guys on my phone because the computer's not working. All right, back to the workbench. So we got masking tape. Masking tape's going to hold a whole lot better. And then you can just come over here to this edge and you can hold it down. So try to be as perfect as you can with the masking tape. It's not an end all if you mess up. And the reason I say that is practice with this, and then because when you do the wood, it really needs to be as precise as you can make it, because the wood needs to fit flush. Because if you're off, by the time you get to the back of the van and you're trying to line everything up, it can shift, and you'll kind of like get to the back. You might be a quarter of an inch off, and maybe for good or bad, the AVC rig template is extremely precise, so you're going to get a really good fit with the wood. So, but it kind of what goes with precision is if you're off with something that's precise, it makes it, I guess, worse. So I don't tape everything down. I'm just taping enough stuff so when I go to trace it out with my permanent marker, it's not lifting up and being annoying. Yep, and then what we're going to do is just take a permanent marker and just come through and trace her out. We'll actually cut these out with a jigsaw. But then when we get to the wood panels, we need to cut them out with a track saw as much as possible to keep those edges nice and clean, square. So if you notice the lip right here that we're going to be taking off, so this right here is going to be cut. This is the front piece of the van. So when we do our wood, do it the same way, because the front doesn't really matter if it's perfect. The back side, we really need to make sure that that transition from the front piece to the middle piece to the back, those edges are super clean. And a way to kind of cheat on that is just to, wherever you got your plywood, just keep that straight edge. And hopefully where you get your plywood, the edge is straight. I buy a lot of stuff from box stores. If I do wall panels, they're going to be Baltic birch. I actually don't use Baltic birch on the floor because it's a little too rigid. And I like the sanded ply or the Revolution ply like Lowe's uses, because it's more flexible. It's not very rigid. What you thinking, Mike?
Got one road.
Oh, I didn't glue it down.
Got a road piece.
Yeah. So we're in the van, and each of these pieces, let me move the camera. So we're going to do a little distraction and hop over here for a second. So this is the inside of the van. And as you see, all these white strips, these are 1/4 inch by 1.5 inch vinyl strips. They're actually for like screen porches to cover up the gap between the screen, typically on like vinyl porch homes. But I use it to fill in the corrugations in the van. So anywhere you see this white vinyl, it's a place where the foam is not supported. And even though once you technically glue the foam in and put the wood on, you're not really going to see a difference. If you put a lot of weight, furniture, loading up the van, if you don't have this in the van, you might have a soft spot in the floor. So typically on a Ford Transit, the softest spots are going to be right over here where I'm standing. So Mike was pointing out that yesterday I forgot to glue this. But it's a good example of how it goes in. So I'll actually glue this right now. But for example, all these places where this white is, if you didn't have this white laminate here, this lattice, then if you stood here, you would be able to flex the floor up and down. And I like to make the floors in the van perfect, because the worst thing is to have a creaky floor or not a solid floor that feels really good when you walk on it. So this is a method that I came up with, and I've used it in all the vans that I've built. So yeah, we're just going to be multitasking a little bit. I'm going to see if I can. Is that the old one?
Yeah.
It's from the other day. I think it might be.
It's pretty gooey.
Can we resurrect it?
I think so.
Okay.
Kind of made it a little wider than usually.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. So we're just. Oh, I see what you're doing. This is what happens when the help is too good. It's like, oh, I already got that for you. It's like, what? That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That should be good.
Heck yeah. Yeah, so what we're using is, this is Loctite Marine Fast Cure. It's expensive. It's $17 a tube. I've tried to buy it in bulk and it only knocks it down to $15. But it is the perfect product, because when it dries, it doesn't dry brittle and it doesn't crack. It actually has like a, it's almost like a urethane, or because it's not even like a silicone. It's I don't know what you would call it. It works. It's perfect. It can adhere, you know, metal to plastic to foam to vinyl to wood. So it's a perfect product, and that's what we're using. So now we're gonna hop over to the van, and let's get this last piece glued in really quick. Yeah, so basically this goes in here, and then we clean out the floor, obviously, before we put all this stuff down. And then, yeah, we just sit it in here. And then we'll make a mental note that that's the piece. Everything else has been cured for 24 hours, so we should be pretty good. Now this spot back here, I don't know if it's on camera, but this is where the Webasto heater is going to go. So we want to make sure we don't go crazy over here with sound deadening or the vinyl. And by the way, any place where we have enough room to put some strips of kill mat in the floor, it's going to just take just that much more of the sound out. I have had a couple comments say that it's unnecessary, but my opinion is any place you can put kill mat in the van, however little, it's gonna help out. Yeah, and then Mike, I think what we'll do also is right here in this middle.
Gotcha.
We'll put a strip down there.
Okay.
Heck yeah. So yeah, that's what the van looks like right there. And then back in the back, we just got a box of kill mat. And then we're just taking little strips, measuring them out, and putting them in the van. So we'll come back over here. We've got all this, make sure. Yeah, I put that. I'm making sure all my audio is not. Okay, van cam looks good. Workbench. All right, looks good. Okay. Yeah, always change your live stream settings before you, or test your live stream settings before you go live. I usually make a little recording just to test the audio, but I added this Workbench camera, and that's where you guys heard that reverb earlier. Yeah, so we'll just take this, we'll roll it up. If you do have a passenger van, these are the seat cutouts. You'll see there's seat cutouts on here. And we don't have that in this van, but AVC Rig does have those marked for you. No rush, but if you, oh wait, never mind. This is red. If you see any permanent markers, just like another one.
Sharpie? Yeah, just put one out.
I had a good one, but this is the one with this. It still works, but I don't know.
Just put one out somewhere.
Yeah, no rush. And we're just kind of connecting the dots on here.
That's a good
Sweet. And then also with the audio, you guys let me know if you can hear. The microphone should duck so it's not super loud for you guys listening on stream. But if you're listening, let me know if it's too loud. Now over here in this back corner, we always have to modify this area because depending on what van you have, the sliding door has some electrical wires and then some wire holders over here. And you know, a template can't be perfect. So what's nice is you can trim up the foam template and then you can go ahead and then from that reference it or transfer it to the wood template. And a couple of benefits of doing the floor the way I do is you have those vinyl strips and then you have the metal floor from Ford. And then you have this 1-inch polyiso foam. So any type of moisture or anything like that, you have that breathability and channels underneath here to let that vent out. In the event that somehow you goofed and got some water in there, left the doors open when it was raining. So your wood is actually off the floor 1 inch. Now we do seal the top of the wood with a bonding primer. So this particular floor, it's getting lawn seal put on. So instead of, the bonding primer that we use, it's specifically made for an epoxy to make sure that the wood the epoxy can adhere to the wood appropriately. And so once we put that on, that seals the wood first, and then the flooring goes on after that. Nice. So let's do a piece. Yeah, do a piece in that corner, and then I'm gonna cut a piece for a couple other places. All right, so we're in the van. We're gonna do one more spot because we're actually, before we leave, we're actually gonna glue this in here. Goes to the back. So while we're looking here in the back, right here is there's like a little rubber cap, and yeah, let me zoom into that. There's a spare tire carrier, or let's see if I can zoom in here. There you go. So right here, there's a spare tire lifting mechanism. Essentially, you put the jack from the to like lift your van up to replace your spare tire. It goes into here. So there's a cap that you peel off. So we want to do that. It's typically on newer vans. Older vans usually didn't have a cap. It's just bare. But we want to keep this accessible. The AVC rig templates call out for this to be cut out. So just be mindful. This van, for example, is getting a rear tire carrier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off the hanger mechanism in the back, and then I'm going to wind this up tight, and then I'm going to zip tight under the van so there's no rattles, and then I'll give the customer that hardware just so in case in the future if they want to reverse the process, they can do that. And then typically, Bert and Jane, if you guys are on stream right now, what we'll do is we'll put a mark back here, and that'll center where this is. We'll cut the foam out with a hole. We'll cut the wood out with a hole, but when we actually do the lawn sill top coat, I won't cut it out, so I'll leave it there. You can feel with your thumb where it's at, but 9 times out of 10, in the future, you're not going to be needing to access this since the tire's at the back. So that'll keep the floor nice and clean. You won't have a hole drilled through it or a cap. But for some reason in the future you wanted to reclaim this, you'd be able to find the hole, line it up, cut it out with a razor, and then be able to access this. Also, all this back here is just support. Anything that you see that's white, this is where the floor would not be supported. So that's why it's critical that all these little pieces of vinyl get put back here and glued down so that it's nice and supported. Because if you can imagine, if back here, if you're walking in and out or you're putting a lot of weight, you're carrying stuff, cargo, it just makes the floor really nice and solid. Because once you're done with the floor, you can't go back. So that's why we want to make sure everything is perfect before we go to the next step. So that little, if you guys are wondering about the back of the van. Nova, you want to go outside? Okay. All right, back to the workbench. Okay, I'll be over there in just 1 second. Let me do some OCD Nick things.
I got you.
You're good, you're good. I know that stuff gets stuck on your feet. Let's see, maybe.
I got you.
Yeah, we'll do that piece and that piece.
You got it.
Heck yeah, then we'll test fit that other piece in. Okay, so while Mike's finishing that up, so this piece is done. We're already ready to move on to the next piece. And remember, the pieces that touch, this back side right here, this has got to be square to the next piece. All of our bed height dimensions are still on here for your bed.
Oh, yeah.
Let's look at that. Yeah, we're using this too. I don't know if you guys can see that. We're trying to calculate the bed size, but it worked out, yeah. Yeah. I've been so busy that I have 3 van builds that are not even on the channel. I've done the van tour on 2 of them. We got to do the van tour on Mike's, but we've not had a chance to, I haven't had a chance to even work on that, so. Okay, next piece. So we need the middle section. So the back, the front. Let's get our middle. So the middle piece is kind of mirrored or symmetrical, and so what you don't want to do is flip it upside down. Because it looks like you can actually put it in the van upside down. I know that sounds crazy, but we actually did it. Because it has like these symmetrical pockets on each side, and then where the wheel wells are, they're also symmetrical. But what makes a difference is, like I was saying earlier, over here on the passenger side, that's how we're looking at this. Driver's side is over here, passengers on the left. The passenger side has the sliding door hardware. And for some reason, Ford, from 2019 to 2023, they didn't have this like electronic plastic wire run. So now, sometimes it's in the way, sometimes it's not. So I just have to wait till I get the van in to see if it's the van that has it or not. Also, one thing you don't want to do is don't use the foam to kind of be lazy and trace it onto the wood. You need to be very precise with the wood. I think I mentioned that earlier, but just reiterating that. So again, this backside, when we get to the wood, this will actually need to be cut with a track saw because we need this backside to be just as straight as possible. When you cut out with the jigsaw, do the best you can. And then when you get in the van to install this, you'll notice that I will put a little bit of extra adhesive in the gap and then smush it together. So the foam is just basically the foundation. The wood needs to be precise because if you've ever been in a van where maybe the flooring was rushed or maybe it's not, the person installing doesn't really care what the finish looks like. You're going to have these transitions between each of the three pieces to where one's going to be higher, one's going to be lower, and you're going to see it when you put the final lawn sill or flooring down. You'll see that that rise in the floor, almost like a little speed bump, or you'll see the transition between the pieces of wood. And you really don't want to, in a professional build, you don't want to see that. You just want the floor to be nice and continuous. Also, when you have all these little cutouts and stuff like that, when Ford does when they glue the body panels in place, or they use that sealant gun or the robot seals or whatever they do, some vans, I guess maybe it's some shifts that make the van is really it's really sloppy, and there'll be a whole glob of glue, and sometimes you need to cut it out so that when you put the foam down, it doesn't rise up, it lays flat. So sometimes there'll be just a big glob of sealant or glue in the van, and it's okay to take a razor and cut that out. Just make sure you don't cut into the paint, so you don't make a place where rust can happen. If you guys have any questions during the live stream, feel free to ask them in the chat. I know it's Halloween night. Everybody's probably out partying. We're in building mode. Getting things done. All right, so looks good. And I'm using a coarse wood blade to cut this foam out pretty quick. Appreciate it. All right, middle panel done. All right, now we're in the back panel. So, if you guys can see it on camera, so right here, there is the call out to cut the hole for the spare tire. And there's also a recommended space or place to put L-track. Speaking of L-track, if you plan on doing L-track in your van, Do whatever you can to find a way to through bolt it through the chassis of your van. That's the best, most safest way to do it. It's pretty hard. It's challenging because you gotta make sure you don't drill through the gas tank or something like that. But while you have the van open, it'll make it to where you can see where the ribs and stuff are, and that's going to allow you to, not drill through the tank. You can pretty much see in the back of the van. There's a lot of area, especially if you lower the spare tire, get it out of the way. This whole back panel, I'd say 90% of this layout back here, you have access to where you're not going to drill anything significant that can damage your van. And I laid down my tape and I can't find it. Where did I put the tape? There it is. Live stream rig. All right. And if the question is, do you always have to tape this down? Yeah, always tape it down, because if you just stretch it and try to trace and then move it, it's going to bubble up like this and you might not have a good layout. I mean, if you're going to do anything in the van right, the floor is what you want to get right. I guess I could throw the power system in there. That seems pretty important. If you can see, this side is my clean cut side. It's going to bump up against the next piece of foam. And yeah, track saw is your friend if you have like a drywall square, something like that. If you don't have a track saw, they do make, you can buy these, what are they called? Well, I guess they're like tracks from Lowe's, but they're kind of like a track guide for a saw. When I talk about track saw, it actually has the nylon runners to where it literally rides in a track. So mine is, I have a track saw from, it's like a Craig tool. Okay, looks good. That's a good marker. Also, these wings right here, I'm going to leave them the standard size. Sometimes I cut them maybe a 1/2 inch short. Sometimes they get in the way if I'm doing something with the wheel well, but if you're doing it for the first time, don't do that. Just keep it exactly the way the template is. And so this back curve back here, this radius matches the AVC rig trim kit, interior trim kit. And so that's like, it's a bunch of powder coated pieces of steel that protect the back. There's a step kit, and we put those in our vans. And they're really, really nice pieces of equipment or hardware. kind of see how this is bunching up over here. So when we get our wood, we want to make sure that we don't have that happen. So we might get some more tape, that sort of thing. Do what? No, we got enough for tonight. I was just saying, like, if you have bubbles in the paper, it's probably because you didn't use enough tape. All right, got a couple questions here in the chat. So, yeah, Bert was talking about the hole in the back. So we're gonna put like a permanent marker line, just a really simple line for where the center line of it is, and then you'll be able to feel with your thumb if you depress it on the lawn seal vinyl. Again, you won't see that little hole, but like if you put some pressure on it, you'll find it. Yeah, so, yep, you're welcome for that. And then, next one is, question is, do you think the 250 foam board is too thick to use on the floor of the van? The 150 looks a little thinner than I like, so I'm using 150. And use 150 and use 1/2-inch ply. The reason I say that is most companies that make the lips and the transitions for the steps in a van. So let's real quick let's just go to their website. All right, so yeah, so AVC rig, if you go to store, van type, transit, and just say high roof. So this transit floor and step trim, it's expensive. The kit is about $875, but it's very good value. And these guys at AVC Rig, they're great they're easy to get in touch with. If you have any questions, and I've just used this kit for pretty much all the vans that I've done. It just adds a really nice professional touch. But to get back to your question, these steps, whether you go with AVC Rig, if you go with some other companies, they're going to be basing this off of an 1.5-inch floor sandwich. And when I talk about floor sandwich, let me find one of my own videos here. So if we go to Van Builder HQ, we go down to the Ultimate Camper Van Flooring Guide.
Adhesive.
And we're going to look at where I talk about this thing I call the floor sandwich. Okay, so right here in the video, it's like right towards the end, you can see how we've got, there we go. So we've got the foam that's 1 inch, the 150, the 1/2-inch floor, and then the top. So this 1 inch, the 1-inch foam and the 1/2-inch ply, those companies are engineering these products to match that. So that's why I would not go with the 250. To be honest, it's not going to be a night or day difference in insulating your van. You know, you can only go so far with insulating the van. Don't be so aggressive with trying to get super thick floors. You know, put that energy, time, effort, and money budget into your heating, cooling part of the van. You know, keep the 1.5 inches so that you're kind of industry standard and you're flexible with these products that they make and that they fit your van. If you decide to go a different direction, or if you just want to go the direction of like Home Depot and get your own 1.5 inch like aluminum strip, where you don't want to spend this much money, you can do that. I did that for my personal van. When I first got it, I just had 1.5 inch aluminum. I actually had just 1 inch or 1/2 inch. So short answer is the industry thinks that you're going to have an 1.5 inch floor. That is a 1 inch foam, 1/2 inch plywood. And then my personal van building experience is don't let the floor be what you think is going to save you when you're cold in your van or you're hot. Your AC or your heat, that's what's going to do that. Yeah. Heck yeah. Good. All right. Connecting the dots, that's what I was doing. No, these are great questions. Great questions. So, yeah, by the way, shameless plug, I have van building course is now available, vanbuilderhq.com, if you guys want to pick that up. So let me pull that up really quick. So if you go to vanbuilderhq.com, it's going to bring you to this page. If you're here for the first time, then you can download the DIY Van Build cheat sheet. It's my free cheat sheet. It's essentially 3 years of Amazon purchases wrapped into an Excel sheet of it's just dumped in there so you guys can have like a quick way to see, you know, what I've bought from Amazon. So put your name, email address, it'll send it right to your inbox. And yeah, it's very helpful. But if you go to course at the top of the page, it's called the Camper Van Conversion Blueprint. So the course down here is going to include getting started, choosing the van, designing layout, designing off-grid power systems, fresh and gray water storage, insulation, sound dampening, exterior upgrades, and then like personalizing the build after you're done with everything. So in each one of these things, I have lectures that go through detail, and it's just me teaching everything that's in my brain of my experience building vans. And so that's all located into the course. There's a PDF presentation that goes with it, and it's all video. So it's just me going through all of these different things to help you. And then we have supplemental videos that are in there. There's actually an exclusive video inside this course that you won't find anywhere else, and it's actually going through a used van purchase for a customer. They hired me to go check the van out before they bought it. And I go through the whole process of checking the van. Is it something you want to get, not get, that sort of thing. But you can click on this access for $50, and it's got a ton of information in there. And yeah, check it out. It's the Camper Van Conversion Blueprint, Camper Van Conversion Course. And I think it'll really help you guys out if you're doing a DIY camper van. Yeah, check it out, Van Builder HQ, and then just click on course. All right, back to van building. So this is the final insulation for the back. One thing that's popping in my mind is sometimes this back you have to trim. If you've never done this before, my recommendation is to go ahead and purchase the step trim kit from AVC Rig, and then put the step threshold in. I got one. I'm going to open the box and show you what I'm talking about here before we glue this in tonight. Because what you want to do is you want to position, you want to get this foam positioned in the floor, kind of where you want it to go. So if you have that step, you can kind of visually see where it's going to sit in the van. Okay, let me cut this piece out. We'll hop back in the van. Move this camera back. There you go. Jigsaw. Yeah, be careful, just don't cut your fingers off. So for this back cut, try to be really precise with this on the foam. It's just going to help you out in the future when you're putting the wood down, that you're not going to have to go in with like a saw blade and trim it, or like a razor blade and kind of cut it. So what I do is I just kind of try to be directly on this line that I traced. And be careful where your fingers are at. All right, so there's the back piece. And the Jigsaw does a really good job. You guys can see. Okay, so next, we're gonna go inside the van. What else did I want to show you? I'm gonna go in the van and test fit these pieces. Oh, this thing zoomed in. There we go. Yeah, I don't really have this in the spot. Maybe I can do that. Let's see here. That might work. I gotta get a better. There's a tripod in this shop, but I can't find it. It's somewhere. No, we're using the small. I can't find. It's like a fixed tripod. Okay. So guys, when you put this in your van, you can see how it's squeaking. So if you glue this into the spot and the van is flexing going down the road, so watch, I'm just gonna barely move it. Like you can't even see it move, but it's making a squeaking sound. All the foam, you want it offset from the wall, like at least 1/8 of an inch. The best way to communicate that is just don't let it touch the wall. So that's how the first piece goes. Now, however far forward you push it or back, that is going to be where you get the step trim in, and then you come over here. Let's see if I can get my camera. I'm gonna get tape. I was so good with all the graphics cards and stuff, like all that stuff I bought today. And like everything that holds the cameras. You guys at home can't see this, but it's the van cam is a little ridiculous right now. It's like laying on the passenger seat. The camera is literally just laying on the passenger seat. Okay, so this is the part I'm talking about. So we're gonna get this step trim. We're gonna take this plastic out, and then we're gonna get the step. You're like, what is step trim? I'll explain. It's basically the big powder coated steel step. So thankfully on their van, you see right here, there's no fancy electrical mumbo jumbo. Mike's van had all that mumbo jumbo. That only means his van isn't new. It's brand new. So yeah, it doesn't make any sense because this van's also new and it doesn't. Ford's weird. I recommend Ford vans, but
This is the gray one.
oh, the white one.
Yeah, there's a white and gray
yeah.
layout, and they just switch it up, I guess.
They see it come down the assembly line. It's white, and it's like, that's a work van.
Yep, switch it up.
We'll just slap this one together. Yeah, Ford is, again, I recommend the Ford Transits as a DIY camper van. It's so nice. Like, they're really good platforms. But the quality control, where the glue joints are, the amount of glue they use in between components, it's it's not always perfect. It's like it's weird. The ceiling ribs are kind of off 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch. So when you get these wall panel kits, like for example, we get the AVC wall panel kits, and they have. See if I can show you. So these bolts that bolt the ceiling in, they have adjustability. So they're kind of like these ovaled holes, and that adjustability is because the van is not. It's not always perfect, but it's okay. It's custom vans, so it's okay. That's not an excuse. That's just custom vans. If you have a problem, it's you just say custom vans.
Custom vans. Yeah. Everything's custom.
It's like why does it look that way? It's custom. That's just a joke, guys. Don't take me seriously on that.
Oops, these walls.
The what?
Move
We're gonna cut that one out.
Okay.
We're gonna cut that one out. We're gonna cut that one out.
Okay. Lots of windows.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, we're gonna be.
Good thing I asked you.
We're gonna put some windows in here.
I know you do the lower, so you probably said that for a reason. I guess I'll move upstairs then.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
I need to. I'm gonna work on taking this step out. Bring in the step trim. Yes. All right, so over here, a little knife. I'm going to take out these little plastic caps. So we won't be using this step. This will be taken out. Heck yeah. Perfection. Yeah, I like them.
So solid.
Somehow that hole in there is super tiny. It's okay because all the builds that we just finished are all the tools are right back where they're supposed to be. Yeah, we got everything back in place. shop is due for a reset, but the calendar says that's going to be next year. All right, so the weird socket is going to be a 7/32 for this plastic part down here. Let's see if I can move this seat up. Move our tripod up. Yeah, perfect. Dude, I know some of my nicest outdoor plants, I get that tar on them.
I know.
Like you're on your knees.
This is the
So
this is the silent assassin. Is the tar? You think it's, you know?
it's like, oh, I'll get it later, and then it.
Yeah, it just becomes part of the shoe.
Okay, so the next thing are these plastic pieces right here. So we want to make sure that these come out because we want, when the metal goes in, we actually use the same adhesive that we use for these, the floor. These floor, glue the floor in, the PL Marine. But we need to take this plastic out so it's flush. And they're a pain in the butt because if you break one, you let it fall in the well, it's not designed to be easily retrievable. We'll just call it like that. And I typically use a chisel, but all the tools in the shop need a reorganization day. And then don't worry about any scratches or anything like that, because what we'll do is, before we seal the step in, we make sure that we do rust preventative. So you see what I did? I bent that out, and then it just popped out. Then this little bend here, what we can do is take a little rubber mallet and just tap that back down to get it back where it's supposed to be. And I just came up with a new method. Look at that. Flathead screwdriver. Pop that. Look at that. Comes right out. Live. New method. Live on VBHQ Live. Okay. That looks fantastic. So, I wonder if I have. Well, we can do it later. It's okay. We're not ready to put this step in because I put this step in last. Okay. See if I can move the camera a little bit. Okay, that end that's kind of wobbling by the door, well, I put like a felt pad here because I like to have like a positive connection to this piece of the van. The part that you can't see, I'll have to figure out how to get that somehow. Dude, that's so crazy how these vans are made. Look how different this is. Because like your van, it goes behind my van. It goes behind this, and I think your van goes behind. Like it does. See, your van does that.
Yeah, why it doesn't sit flat when it does that?
Yeah. So this one doesn't.
Pushing it out on there?
Notice this lip.
Oh.
This lip is extended. So see this. See how this is like. Yeah. So see the lip. Yes, it's a lip.
Why is it like that?
I don't know. Does that work? Well, I could. No. Well, I mean, actually, this lip, I wonder if I could, just needs to be tapped into place. I think this edge is kind of rolled over. See, that's, so close. It's okay. We'll show you what we're showing you later. Not right now because I can't change the cameras. But essentially, we got this. We have the step in here. So once the step's in here, this is what you're going to use as a reference for install. There. Man, I wish I would go in there. Yeah, I want it to be like that. Okay, it's in there now. We're just having to. See?
Oh.
This is that weather gasket.
Yeah.
I think this the whole floor that they stamped and glued in is just, it's like 1/8 of an inch this way. But once that gets glued in, it should be okay. Maybe we can trim some of that out. Yeah, I know you guys can't see this, but we'll talk about it. It's the part we're all talking about is right here. You can't see it on camera. Here. Let me see if I can do this. There we go. This is usually how I disconnect the cameras, but okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, so what I'm complaining about is right here. It's this section, so this is not AVC's fault. All their stuff is exactly the same. But like my 2019 van is fine. Like 2 or 3 other Fords are fine. Basically and this is not a problem at all. I can completely solve this, but this step right here, like when Ford puts this in, for some reason this particular van is just out like just 1/8 of an inch too much. And so this little gap right here where this lip of this is to go over this. When you put it in, if you can see, this is right into the rubber. What we want it to be is over, and actually we want it to be bumped up like that. And so what we're going to do is we'll probably trim just so this is not sealing rubber right here. This backside is the sealing rubber. So we'll just cut this just about 1/2 inch. So the thickness will probably be like 1/8 of an inch, and then by like 1/2 inch, and that's going to allow this to sit in here the way it's supposed to be. And then we'll actually glue the step down. The reason we want it all the way up and forward is because that defines where this foam piece is right here. And we need to define the foam piece because once we get the foam glued in, we can take this step, we can lift this up and take this step back out. And the reason we need to do that is because we need to build a support here because this right here is, there's no support for the floor. And so what we do is I build we paint and seal a 2x4 right here, and that the floor screws into it, and it's like a table leg, and it allows it so that for this one we're having a kitchen galley put here, but if this was open and you were walking in the van and you stepped here, you'll crack the floor because obviously there's no support. So yeah, that's what we're talking about. So I'm going to bring the foam, and then you'll see how this works. So imagine this is the final wood floor. So here's your insulating piece, just like that. And so you see, we don't want it to be here, obviously. So now what we can do is, now that our step is in here, we can play around with kind of where we want this to land. And so like another viewer was saying earlier, see how this is flush with a step? Because it's designed for this 1 inch. And then that 1/2 inch floor, the lip that comes over is designed to, it's kind of going to float. So you have like 1/8 to 1/4 of play in case you wanted to do maybe 1/2 inch foam, 3/4 inch floor, something like that. You'd have a little bit of wiggle room, but you want to do it 1 inch foam, 1/2 inch floor. So this is kind of explaining to you what's happening. So you can see this is going to get bumped up to that, and then that positions us to where this is our forwardmost position. Now, with that being said, if we look to the other side, which is right over here, that top right piece, if you notice, it's now touching. So that is where we need to trim that so it doesn't touch. So we're just going to take our marker, come in here, and it's okay to walk on this as long as you got shoes on. then we're just going to come here, and I'll get a square. I'll get a square so I can get this all the way back to here, cut out. Actually, we want to stop it right there. And then here's another piece of some forged stuff. This isn't going to squeak, but we definitely want to take this section right here. We want to chop that off. Back here in the back, we're looking good. We got a nice gap. Yeah, so we're going to actually glue this in here in a minute. So I'm using a drywall square to do a final mark. Oh, thanks, Bert. Yeah. Yeah, the detail's important right here because this is where squeaks happen. And then once it's all glued in, you can't do anything about it. I mean, there's a way to fix it. I found a way to fix it, which is you can drill a hole, and just pump it full of adhesive and then let it dry and it'll make it stop squeaking. But that's like a Band-Aid. We kind of know how to make it not squeak now. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, so just a simple cut like that. That will not allow that spot to squeak. All right. And I was pretty happy with everything else with this piece, so I'm going to mess up Mike's progress.
Hindsight, I would have started in the front, but
that's fine. We're going to be in this van for quite a bit, so we can get back to it. So we're going to push it all the way up to the front, and then we're just going to pull it back, just like that. Let's see here. Yeah, that feels pretty good. We're not gluing it in yet. We're just. So see that? So that. Now, when we glue it down, that's going to go away, but we need to find out why it's so loud. It looks to me like it is because of Ford's got so much. There's so much glue. And so it's fun to watch these vans because some vans don't have it, some vans have a lot. So what's happening is this glue right here is touching the bottom of the foam. So that mound that's like That's probably the highest I've seen, so I'm actually gonna, yeah, yeah, I've never done that before, but let's see if that fixes it. Now, some would say this is OCD, but I don't know. I don't like squeaks. Hold on, Nova. We'll get you. You can let her in and shut the door if you want to. All right, so what we did is we just shaved off here, maybe I can show you. See if you guys see that. We shaved off at an angle, like at a 45. Because that glue's just really high in that corner. So do that, come back. So there you go. See? See no more squeaks? Because that glue is just ramped up. It's really high in that corner. And we're already like a quarter of an inch off. So usually we never have to do that. But I mean, it is overkill. There's really not going to be any weight over there, but it's just more peace of mind for me that I don't have to worry about it later. Okay, bam, we got that piece in. So next, we're going to go get this middle section. So van can move here. All right, so here's our middle section. And you kind of see this is where, you know, if there's a place that we can put the kill mat, we'll put it. All right, so this is the piece that if you, it's not the end of the world, but you can flip this around and technically have it upside down. So put this piece in. Oh, you're good. Okay. So that piece fits really nice. And we'll go grab the back piece. Yeah. The back piece is always like that.
That long lip too, I think.
Yeah, it's just weird. It's so weird how every van's different. It's like they're all made on the same assembly line, I'm pretty sure. They're good vans, okay? Don't get me wrong. I recommend that you get a Ford Transit, but this is just a nerdy builder talking about that's what people talk about in the shop. This is what we talk about when we build vans. Same thing's going to happen with the glue around the wheel wells. Depending on how sloppy they are, we'll have to cut to make sure it doesn't squeak. But this plastic cover here, it's these in the back there for the grounding of the back of the van. Not only the back of the van, they actually participate in grounding of the front of the van, which is really weird for me. But I found out that the hard way, I disconnected both, and then all of a sudden, the whole van, none of the courtesy lights worked. And I was like, oh man, what happened? So I learned that this has to do with the courtesy lights in the front of the van, which is crazy that this is where, that means the wires are going from there all the way back to here. Anyway, this stays off. I use this and I re-ground it to the power system later. So we're going to keep that cap off. So it's not going to interfere with the foam. There's another cap on the other side. Same thing. Just take these caps off and then we won't use them anymore. Yeah, so tonight we're not going to film the wood. We're going to get these pieces glued in, and then we'll take a breather for the night. Yeah, I'm just gonna jigsaw that back piece out, and then just kind of close out the live stream. And then tomorrow, you guys will see where we got. And by cutting this, it's also going to allow you to, it's going to be much easier to install. She's fine, she's fine. Everybody knows Nova. Now, I had a viewer buy her dog treats. It was really funny. Yeah. Yeah, so right here, we're going to have to trim a bunch of glue right there. So yeah, let's take a look. So also, by the way, we've got the step trim in. It's all the way to the front. It's where it's supposed to be. It's popped in. Foam is all the way to the front. And at the back here, we got our foam it's almost, we got about 1/4 of an inch overhang. And I leave that like that because I really like how when you shut the door, you've got a little bit, oh yeah, we'll talk about this later. This foam piece right here. So don't get triggered by this, but this gets thrown away. This is just a bumper. This has to be taken off when we get to this point. So it's actually just one screw and a little bit of stick-on tape. And so we're just going to peel it off, just like that. And then I'll come back in here with a screwdriver and get the rest of it off. But now you can see the door closes. And because that has that 1/4 inch overhang, it just makes this nice clean gap. So you don't have just like a really large gap. But so this is good. Yeah, so where we're going to get tomorrow is we're going to have this glued down. We'll have the wood in. Yeah, I think I might do those both. Get the wood cut and then glue the foam and glue the wood.
Yeah, let it all clear.
That way, that transition gap it's just where it's going to be. Because I think doing the foam separate, like we've been doing, is because if it's like this and then you put the wood on, then it's off.
Yeah.
Can't fix it. All right, we might be upgrading the process. All right. So we got another comment: Tractor Supply rubber hose mats. Oh yeah, like the horse stall mats versus the styrofoam for squeaks. So the way we solve the squeaks is we're not touching the edges of the van. I don't recommend rubber for the floor of a van. Like rubber mats, if you're kind of, if the rubber mat is going to be your floor and that's where you're going with, no problem with that. But for a build like this, we want to, the foam is it's a tool in our like sandwich layer, I call it, because we want to make sure that is that thermal break between the cold or hot sheet metal and the plywood. So we kind of get that break, a little bit of that insulation. But yeah, if you're going to use the those horse mats that they sell, they're very heavy, but I would not recommend horse mats for a van build. I would stick to this process that I do. I personally think it is the best van floor process. Yeah, I wouldn't do rubber. I would also not do mini cell. I know there's some, even some companies I buy other products from, they like to promote and use mini cell foam. It's kind of squishy, like 3/4 inch or whatever. It'll be CNC cut out or whatever. No matter how fancy it is, you need a solid floor base. So the foam itself is this is how many PS? What is the PSI on this? I forgot. PSI. It's on one of those back there. It's like 15 or something. I don't know. Maybe this one. Yeah, there it is, 15. So I'll show you guys this example. So right here it says compressive strength 15 psi. So each square inch of this can withstand 15 psi of pressure. So this is why we want this type of foam. Now, when we glue it and then we put the floor on top of it, the surface area allows it to be even more resistant to compression. So this just gives you a nice, it's insulated, but it also gives you a nice walking experience. The rubber to me is too squishy. I don't like the way it is. It's not good for whatever final laminate or whatever you put down on the floor. We don't want that flexibility. We want it to be rigid. But the reason we're using it is because there's not that much. The more you put in the floor, the less headroom you get. So the more you add to the floor, the more you add to the ceiling, the van really starts to come in on itself pretty quick. So that's just my opinion. Yeah, so over here we're going to be prepping for tomorrow, getting all that stuff looking good. And then, but tonight, for the live stream, that's where we're going to stop tonight. If you guys have any further questions, put those in the comments below. We're going to keep knocking this out, and then tomorrow we'll give you guys an update on the next live stream. We'll be live tomorrow for sure, where the floor is at, and then we'll actually get to working on the roof. We've got the, let's just talk a little bit about what's happening tomorrow. We've got the Unaka roof rack system that we'll start to put together. We're using it for the Ford Transit. We're doing the premium roof rack with the special light bar fairing. And so these guys this company, believe it or not, they're an hour and 44 minutes away from the shop. And so I went down there to pick up the roof rack because I wanted to pick up some other stuff. And I saw this sample they had laying on the floor, and I was like, what is that? And they're like, oh yeah, that's our new wind fairing with light bar recess. And I was like, oh yeah, I want that. So I took back the original roof rack I had for this build, and I swapped it out with this new one because we're going to put in a 50-inch light bar right here at the front of the van. It's going to be super cool. And yeah, so we're going to go with that. But we're kind of like doing like a little bit of a hybrid job here, because we're going with this premium roof rack with the light bar, but we're actually going to be doing the we're actually going to be doing the Explorist Life version roof rack right here. So we're going to have two 200 watt panels, two 55 watt panels, and then two 35 watt panels. And what that's going to do is, so here's my video showing you the layout. But we'll hop over here to Nate from Explorist Life, YouTube channel, and they're going to show us what it looks like on top of the van. So if we play this, this is what we're going to have. This is our end product. So they're using a Nomadic. We're using a Velit 2000R rooftop unit, 12 volt. We're going to have the max fan, but the roof will look like this when everything is all said and done. We're also adding a Fiamma awning to the roof, which will be nice. It's the Fiamma F45S 10-foot, it's the 300, I think. It's the name of the series or whatever. So we'll be doing that, and got this. So, oh yeah, and the ladder. We're doing this this side mount ladder right here, just like that. I like this ladder. It's got some cool, I don't know what those are. These like L-track little hanger points. I think that's what that is. Anyway, we'll be installing that as well. So don't miss out. That is coming up on the next live stream. If you guys are not subscribed, get subscribed to the channel. Give us that thumbs up button. Share this video to anybody that's doing a DIY van on their own and maybe need some help with some content. I've got all kinds of stuff on the channel. So not just live, we've got actual videos where we've gone to different shows throughout the years, and that's all on the channel, Van Builder HQ. So check that out. Just click on videos, and then you guys will see all these different van tours and stuff like that. Yeah, so that's going to do it for tonight. We're going to sign out here. Leave your questions in the comments, and we'll see you guys tomorrow on the next live stream.